ደህና ዋላችሁ። አሉላ ለዓመት በዓል ብቻ ነው ትግርኛ የሚያስተምረኝ። ለዓመት በዓል ብቻ ነውና አሁን እንዳውም ጽፍ ቶሎ ዓመት በዓሉ ሳይሆን እንትኑ ብቻ ነው አሉላ ትዝ የሚለኝ። ባለፈው ደራርቱ እንትን አምጥታልኝ ዶሮ እየበላው ናይሮቢ የምኑም ፋሲካ አልኩት ምን ነበር የሆነ በዓል ፋሲካ አልኩት። አልተረጎመም እምቢ አለው እስክዋረድ ድረስ ማለት ነው። It's so wonderful to see you guys. It's a lot of memories. When DC, the first time I came here is 2006. Here I sit go ne. Minnesota you let it balaman tak worried of ne. Gaabsan edun kayni dar tur. Abdi Bona was almost a baby. Where is Bona? Bona was down there. Shukute was always old. What is Ebisa? DJ was still I gaggar akanota. Maski badate tawo jira. And I miss Badani. Badani Tadase was like a father to me here. Obajailu ara ko haka benanjani. Namahiddu to jira. Of course abakalacha. Walalo every day. Khanu dubbisu. You know, that's the thing about Turi Khana. I forget my speeches because I feel like I'm going home to my family. You know, I left my family when I was 8. I lost my father around that age. And my family has been the people, you know, every step of the way, from almost half of elementary school, high school, college, and the political life. I was nursed, supported, nurtured by you, by the people. And it makes it emotional. እዚህ ሁለት ሰዎች ነበሩ ያኔ ሁሌ አብሬ ሃንጋውት ማረገው በዳኔና ያሬድ ነበሩ። ቶታሊ ኦፖዚት አይዲዮሎጂ ነው ያላቸው. but they are both cool. ከኔ ቀድሞ ነው የሚተዋወቁት back in the day. ሆኖም ግን በዳኔ ሃርድ ኮር ፕሮ ኢንዲፔንደንስ ነበር ታውቃላችሁ። እሱ ደግሞ ኢትዮጵያኒስት ነው። they helped me balance my life. ፖለቲካል ላይፉን ብቻ ሳይሆን ቶለራንስ ዲቨሎፕ እንዳረግ በጣም የረዱኝ እዚህ ሀገር ውስጥ ልብ ከሁሉም እንዳሉ ሆነው የያሬድና የበዳኔ friendship was very important. Now this is also a city where I came here to study nonviolent resistance. I started it at Stanford. I studied there for I think 2 years. Then internship, I came for internship here. And with Yared and Abdi and others, I think Ebisa was there. The Oromo Center is still around. At the basement of Oromo Center, we used to have a class on nonviolent resistance. And Yared Tababu coined the term Oromara way long before that. This is where we cooked a lot of stuff. This is where the theoretical aspect of nonviolence that I studied at Stanford came to life. Here is where I studied particularly its application. Thank you for buying the book. I hope you read it. Really, the purpose of writing the book is to encourage it. Our society is, mostly an oral society. We don't really document much of our individual or communal stories. Back in the day, we had elders who can sit and educate their children about history, about culture, about law. Then it gets transmitted with little loss. Actually, I was groomed to be a historian. If you can read at the beginning of the book. In area where I grew up, when you are young, they kind of assess your talent. If you are, playing with the soil, making stuff, they put you with people. They put you with them. If you like talking, I used to talk a lot when I was young. When I was, I'm one so you say but I'm not So they put me with a guy called Manza. Ilkhan in Kapu, he was, I don't even know. But even with that, his memory was amazing. But today that's not the case. Today, whether it's the old or the young, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook. The opportunity to transmit our stories orally is not going to be there. If we take our elders, our founders, the people who led the OLF and others, very few people wrote a book. One of the books that inspired me was Ibsa Gutamas. He wrote his experience. And that gave me an insight into what has transpired so far. We need people to write. And I wrote my story. I spent half of the book really about my upbringing and my journey. So I hope for the youngsters, the English version will be here. The reason it is one of the reasons it's delayed is because of censorship. We send the book into China, and they want to take out every word, democracy and anything like that. So that's why it is delayed. It will be out. I will say a few words and I will open the floor for discussions. We fought for democracy. We fought for a better future for our people. This struggle started probably during Garmame Nawai, the modern struggle for political reform, for democracy, for equality in Ethiopia started. The spark was, I trace it back to Mengistu and the Garmame Nawai, the Nawai brothers. Then Yarir's generation, Ibsa Gutama's generation came with the student movement. Then we had the federalism. Our generation inherited that struggle. Our wish, our ambition, our dream was to make our country better for our people, to have more freedom, to have more equality, to have a just social and political system. That was our dream. For the last 50, 60 years, Ethiopian youth from all walks of life sacrificed in millions, whether in the Eritrean desert, whether in Bale, whether in Ogaden, people died, people sacrificed because they wanted to see a better future for themselves and for their children. Today it is different. The generation before me and myself, we fought because the state was too strong. It could easily discriminate, it could kill, it could jail, it could exile people. We wanted to restrain the state's violence. Today the struggle is different. Today the state has become too weak. The kind of war that has happened in Ethiopia it's not a war that just kills people. We talk about losing 1 million here, 1 million there. It's a war that is killing a country and a society and a generation. Ethiopia ስትሄዱ, I challenge you not to sit in Finfinne, in Adama, and Redawa. If you are scared of leaving the city, please invite your parents, your family, your brothers, your friends from the countryside. Ethiopia has become hell on earth for people in the rural part of the country. Because you will be killed, you don't even know who kills you. You will be kidnapped, you don't even know who kidnaps you. By the way, it's not, during Dark or later. So you had Shabia or you had OLF or you have Oyani. And you have a Dark. You can blame certain leader for what happens. Today we have multitude of insurgents. And we have multitude of government forces. Abiy has no control over Ethiopian state security forces. እሱ አዲስ አበባን ከማሸብረቅ ውጪ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ እየሆነ ያለውን ነገር አያቅምም፣ አይቆጣጠርም። ዛሬ እኮ አንድ ባታሊዮን መከራየት ይቻላል። ባታሊዮን የሆነ ወታደር you can rent። ዛሬ ሪፐብሊካን ጋር ተከራይተህ መኪና ከተሰረቀ ታስመልሳለህ ወይ ደግሞ ታሰርቃለህ። ፖሊስ ትከራያለህ፣ ታስገድላለህ፣ ታስመልሳለህ። ሶ የፍራግመንቴሽኑ የሴኩሪቲ ሴክተር ፍራግመንቴሽን፣ የሶሻል ፍራግመንቴሽን፣ የፖለቲካል ፍራግመንቴሽኑ ድሮ I used to write back in the day. One of the things, and Yared Sadiq can testify, one of my fear why I decided no, we should not get rid of EPRDF, that we need to reform it, is because I saw the horror of Arab Spring. Before Arab Spring, I thought we can overthrow government and start fresh. When Arab Spring put those countries into chaos, I was terrified. I wrote something called, I think, avoiding Syria and Libya. We wanted to avoid Syria and Libya. Ethiopia today is a combination of Congo, Syria, Libya, Yemen put together. Why? Guji is a mineral-rich area. Guji is a mineral-rich area. There are multiple state, non-state militias who control every Kabale. People in Guji do not know who they pay tax to. So the state has become so fragmented. ስቴቱ ከመዳከሙ የተነሳ እርዳታ መስጠት አይቻልም ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ዛሬ። አሁን ሰሞኑን ስለ ማዳበሪያ እየጻፍኩ ነው አይደለም? The government is even unable to distribute ማዳበሪያ. Sometimes rebels take it and distribute it. ዛሬ ይደብቃሉ እንጂ ከ30 ሚሊዮን በላይ ሰው እርዳታ ይፈልጋል ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ። ለዚህ ሰው እርዳታው ማጠር ብቻ ትራምፕ ማቆሙ ብቻ አይደለም፣ ይሄን እርዳታ ሊያደርስ የሚችል ስቴት እንኳን የለም ማለት ነው። that's why ድሮ ለዲሞክራሲ ለቢሊሱማ ለወለቡማ ለወልቂጡማ እንታገር ይሆናል። that's a luxury to talk about democracy in Ethiopia is really a luxury. Because the question of survival. ድሮ ፖለቲካው ስናወራ የህልውና ጥያቄ እንላለን አይደል? It actually የህልውና ጥያቄ in Ethiopia today for people. You cannot if you saw the Ethiopian Airlines CEO talk about domestic flights increasing by 100 or 200, 300%, it's not because Ethiopian people all of a sudden make a lot of money that they don't want to go by car, they want to fly from Bahar Dar to Addis Ababa. No, because it's impossible to safely make it from Bahar Dar to Gondar. Today you cannot go to Shashamane. People are scared of going to Shashamane. They fly to Hawassa, then they drive. That's why the number of domestic flights increased. The local administrations in Amhara, particularly in Amhara in Oromia, ከጎንደር መጥተው አዲስ አበባ መጥተው ነው ባህር ዳር የሚሄዱት። ከኮምቦልቻ ፍላይ አዲስ አበባ ወይ ደግሞ ባህር ዳር ሄደው ነው የሚመጡት። የደቡብና የደቡብ ምዕራብ አሁን የተመሰረቱ ክልሎች አስተዳዳሪዎች በመኪና አይደለም የሚመጡት። they have to fly. But what does this guy do? He builds resorts. Even if you afford it, you can't even go to Wanchi. That's why I think the minimum common agenda for Ethiopian people today has emerged: peace. If we don't restore peace, forget about Bilisumma. Forget about development. This is what I hear from my mother, from the elders. They tell us, Sirrakonu fide. Jarri durasu yonu chunkurses, bar nagayan taziada ine debina. Taziada kundan daw namni. Adam fasalla jiddu sakura rabo sochir njiru. Can you imagine? So, what I plead with our diaspora, support peace in Ethiopia. And the biggest roadblock for peace in Ethiopia is Abiy. This is not a power struggle between me and him. This is not even an ideological difference. Because he has become a source of, he's a breeding ground for insecurity, for war. Just in 6 years, I mean, the kind of war and conflict breeding, even today, hagar badam no misanaw ilal. So, support peace. How do you support peace? One, say no to war in that country. Put pressure on government in multiple ways. And put pressure on the rebels to put their act together, articulate their demands, discipline their soldiers. Discipline their soldiers. Because አንዱ ችግር የመንግስትም የአማጺውም ወታደር ዲሲፕሊን የለውም። ይሄ የሲቪሊያኑ ህዝብ ህይወት መከራ ውስጥ ከቶታል። ስለዚህ ለሰላም መታገል፣ ምክንያቱም በዚህ ከቀጠልን ውልቅልቃችን ነው የሚወጣው። Someone was asking me if it will be Congo. I said it's a combination of everything. መጫወቻ የኛ ህዝብ ዛሬ የኢትዮጵያ ህዝብ መጫወቻ ሆኗል። አሁን ያለው እየተባባሰ እንዳይሄድ ህዝባችን በተቻለ መጠን ሰላም እንዲያመጣ ልዩነቶች ይኖሩናል። You know, we used to go to this Ethiopian restaurants here and debate about flags, debate about history, debate about communism or socialism. ያ ቅንጦት ነው ዛሬ። Today, people in Ethiopia do not want to hear that kind of debate. People today just want to be left alone. They want to be able to go to their farm without rebels kidnapping them or without government arresting them. You know, they arrest people. Back in the day, during the Darg or if you get arrested, you might rot in jail. Today you get arrested. They know how much money you have in your account, or if your auntie and cousins are in DC, then they will ask you for $1 million birr. If you don't have it, they will take you out and execute you so that the next victim will be terrified and pays. That is the state of fact in Ethiopia. And this requires for diaspora to put its head together and pray, work hard, and put maximum pressure on the warring parties, particularly on the government, to sit down. መልእክት ባለፈውም ተናግሬያለሁ። ትግራይ በተለይ አሁን የመተሞከረ ያለው ነገር ካልቆመ ለትግራይም ለኢትዮጵያም ለኤርትራም ከፍተኛ አደጋለሁ። I'm glad to hear ካሉላ እንደዛ አይነት ሙከራዎች መኖራቸው። የአማራ ወንድሞቻችን ደግሞ ሀሳባቸውን ሰብሰብ ማድረግ፣ ጥያቄውን አርቲኩሌት ማድረግ፣ የግድ አንድ ድርጅት ባይሆን ራሱ አርቲኩሌት በሆነና ሲስተም ላይ ባነጣጠረ በኋላ መልኩ ማስቀመጥ አስፈላጊ ነው። በኦሮሞ ወገን ደግሞ ኃላፊነት አለበት። ወደንም ጠላንም አሁን ስልጣን ላይ ያለው ቡድን በእኛ ትግል ነው ወደ ስልጣን የመጣው። በእኛ ስም ነው የሚነግደው። የክሬዲቢሊቲ ክራይሲስ ውስጥ ከቶናል። በራሳችን ላይ የሚደርሰውን ጥፋት ብቻ ሳይሆን በኢትዮጵያና በአካባቢው ላይ ይሄ ስርዓት እያደረሰ ላደረገው ችግር ማስቆም ግንባር ቀደም ኃላፊነት አለብን። As an Oromo, I feel responsible. Not only to end the killing in Oromia, but also elsewhere. We need to act with responsibility. በጣም አስፈላጊ ነው። በበኩሌ ወንድሞቼ ያስተላለፉት መልእክት በተረፈችኝ እድሜ I don't think I will see the kind of democracy I dreamt. But at a minimum, I want to contribute towards ending war in Ethiopia and restoring some level of stability so that the next generation, my children and your children, can start that conversation about democracy. I will end it here and I will open the floor for discussion.
Thank you, Jawar. ዋና ባየ ብዙ ነገር ብሏል። እኔም በጣም ማምንበት ነገር ቢኖር ጃዋር ይጀምራል። ጃዋር ምንም አሁን በቤት የተጀመረ ነገር አምጥቶ እዚህ አድርሷል። ከዚህ ደግሞ ነገ ከነገወዲያ ደግሞ የሆነ ቦታ ሄዳል። So someone will start it and then somebody in maybe 50 years down the road hopefully will finish it. So እኔ ቃወም ነበር ያው መንግስትን ቃወም በመጀመርበት ጊዜ አብይ የጀመረው ነገር ሁሉም እሱም ማድረግ ይፈልጋልና I would say no. አንድ ሰው የጀመረውን ያ ሰው መጨረስ አይችልም most likely በፖለቲካ። ስለዚህ እየተሸጋገረ ነው የሚሄደው. We thank you Jawar for such a beautiful talk.